Close to him.
Oh, that take a roll. I mean, the tape, huh?
Mm-hmm. Page 15.
Yep.
Sit down here.
Put that, yeah, somewhere out of the way where you have.
Don't go through. I'm going to set this right here.
Well, you can sit down right there.
No, that's okay. I'll sit over here out of your way. I'm just going to put this machine here so we can pick up your voice, too.
Oh, yeah. I had to speak a little bit louder. This is the first time they ever do me like this.
Well,
And they
tell you
done me a
what.
lot of things in the Army. Oh. I didn't care. It didn't hurt me.
Well, I'm glad they didn't hurt you. You ready?
It's right, yeah. This is May 15th, 1985. This is Joe, Todd, and Judith Michener, and interview with Joe Garza.
You know what they are in them things?
What?
If you knew what they are, you wouldn't sit down on them.
What's in there?
Worms. Fish worm.
Oh,
Those long ones, you know.
Oh, I used to go fishing all the time with fish worms.
Yeah, and I use everything.
Oh yeah.
Something that's already made, you know, by some company.
Let me see.
You might say his name again since
Yeah.
you stumbled.
This is an interview with Joe Garza in Boise City, Oklahoma.
Yeah. You can put the Jose, it don't make no difference to me.
You can go by Joe or Jose?
I go by Joe right here. Everybody calls me Joe.
Oh, okay. Sir, where were you born?
Joe E.
Joe E.
Well,
Joe
I
E.
was born
Yeah.
on a creek here in Luhan place.
And when's your birthday?
The 25th of September, 1900.
Who's your father?
Pablo Garza.
And your mother?
Irenes Garza, Irenea Garza, but Irenes be just good, that's what we used to call her. Irene.
Irene. What was her name before she got married?
Padilla.
Did you know your grandparents?
Huh?
Did you know your grandparents?
I knew my granddad, yeah.
Yeah.
My grandma was dead before I could recognize anybody or see anybody.
Did, what was your grandfather's name?
Huh?
What was your grandfather's name?
Joe?
Joe.
Yeah. That's the reason they give me that. Because my last name, Joe E. Garza, you know. Inamencio is my real name.
Yeah. What was,
But first is Joe Inamencio Garza.
Yeah. Where's your grandfather from?
My grandfather was from, I believe it was Santa Fe somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah, over in New Mexico.
Yeah.
When did they come over here to this country?
Well, Luhan, you know. And another fellow here on the river, my mother worked for them. And they all were drifting this way. And they drifted into Oklahoma.
How come they came here?
Huh?
How come they came here? Why did they come here?
Oh, well, there was kind of a dangerous place when they come, but the people in that times, you know, they didn't care. They just looking for where they could make a living.
And what year did they arrive here?
I don't, I can't tell you that because I wasn't here then. And I didn't hear him talk if I did, or I didn't pay no attention. That's the time that I'd pass, you know. But they come over here. My dad, I guess, was born in Texas, you know, but their folks was from old Mexico. He had school in Texas.
What part of Texas?
I believe he said somewhere close to San Antonio there, a little old town this side. Nacogdoches or somewhere, I don't know what they call it.
You ever hear any stories about their life in Texas?
Huh?
Ever hear any stories about what they did in Texas?
No, not very much.
Mm-hmm.
Only right after the war with Santana, what was his name? Antonio Santana, right? The United States got pretty friendly with the Mexicans, you know. But they told them to stay on the other side, you know. And they did. A lot of them did. They couldn't go because they belonged here, you know. That's all they knew. San Antonio used to be a Mexican town, you know.
Is that before the Alamo?
Yeah.
You ever hear any stories?
That's where's the Alamo. I know the Alamo.
Yeah. You ever hear any stories about the Alamo?
No. It's used to be a mission or something like that. Catholic place, you know. There was everything there, you know. The state, and the priests, and everything. The Alamo.
Ever hear any stories about the war with Mexico?
Very little, very little. They don't want to talk about that, you know. And because there wasn't the people that anything like that caused it. There was a headman, say, you know, and the people that had come from England or somewhere, I don't know where they come from. Anyway, I didn't hear very much about it.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, I didn't care to know, you know, because things of the past that wouldn't concern me very much, you know. I want to know the present, you know.
Well, what kind of work did your father do?
Cattle.
Cattle.
My father didn't work nothing else but cattle. Break broncs. Break broncs for the people. Ride them bad ones, you know. Pretty good with the rope, too. Well, I got to be pretty good, too.
Did your father work for this Mr. Luhan?
Yes. Yes, we lived right there by him, you know. He had people. He furnished some places to live there in order to have protection, you know, of other people. Because always, I guess, been bad people in this country. That is in this part of the Cimarron. Because I don't remember the Indians, no. I ain't going to talk about that because I don't remember the Indians. That was before my time. But I remember I was 7 years old when the soldiers or government man come over here and wagons marking this roads where they rode now, the sections, marking the land, you know.
Surveying it?
Surveying, you know. And there was, in wagons, 2 team of horses. and they was dressed in blue. Little cap set with back, you know. And they tell me they were soldiers.
How'd they mark the section lines?
Yeah.
How'd they mark the section corners?
Well, a lot of places where the nasters comes in, call them nasters, or they call them nasters their own selves. I didn't give them that name, or I don't know who gave them that name. But whenever they file on the place, they stake them. Put numbers on that stake.
Whenever the Army was surveying, you know, whenever they would mark one of the section corners, how did they mark that corner?
I don't know. Mister, I've seen some of them that said it was put by the government kind of a little on top and go down like that, made out of tin, galvanized tin, you know, and they had holes on the sides. And I know one of them, and I believe it's still there. I can go show him. And they said the government people put that in there. It's not to be moved.
Tell me about your early days on the Luhan Ranch. What'd you do?
Oh, I worked for Mrs. Luhan. As a kid, they had girls. They had, well, after I was born, I had got to be where I had 4 girls. And I think just one of them living. And she's a nun. He was a religious man. And when I was, I was at school, and this time, when the gardens, you know, the schools didn't last as long as they does now, you know, because there was hard teachers in them days. And I go and help Miss Luhan. I done everything at churn. One of the big churns, and I work on the garden. Of course, my mother had a garden too, and I knew what to do in a garden, you know. And I knew all the plants that I shouldn't cut with my hoe, you know. That's what I done. And then up in the hill, they had a little bunch of sheep. He had 2-3 herds, you know, really big herds of sheep. And they sent me out there and bring the sheep in, put them in the corral. And I was done for the night. I just run across the creek there, my place, my granddad's.
What was your granddad's name?
Joe, what was that?
That's right, Joe. You said that there's one of the Luhan girls still living?
Well, yes, one of the Luhan girls still living.
Where does she live?
She's none. I don't know where she might be in France. She might be in the United States, but there was in the United States the last I knew.
What kind of man was Mr. Luhan?
Oh, the short guy, heavy-set, pretty smart for being Spanish, you know. He could read pretty good, fast, and 2 of his girls was 2 school teachers here. Juanita, no, Mercedes, and Molly. They were school teachers. And
what about Mrs. Luhan?
oh, she was just a good woman, the best woman I had. As a neighbor, you know, she was one woman that she just had to deal with girls, you know. And when I was there, well, she treated me like I was one of their kids.
Mm-hmm. What kind of house they live in?
Huh?
What kind of house do they live in?
Still up.
It is.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There's still, the people that bought it kind of remodeled it a little bit, you know. Oh, there was a kind of a nail house like that long, and long this way. Maybe 3 rooms this way.
What was it made of?
Huh?
What was that house made of?
Rock.
Rock?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I hope you'll find all this truth, because I don't like a lie. I can prove a truth and I can't prove a lie, you know.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
Whatever you ask me, I tell you I don't know, I don't know.
Yeah.
And what I tell you that I do know, I know it.
Mm-hmm. What did Mr. Luhan call his ranch? What was the name of it?
Huh?
What was the name of Mr. Luhan's ranch?
Well, there was Mr. Luhan Ranch, you know, until he died. Mr. Luhan died first. And then he died a good many years ago. And then it says Baca Ranch, because Molly married into Baca from, I don't know, Taos or...
Did you know the Bacas?
Huh?
Did you know the Bacas?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I had a cousin. No, not even, it wasn't a cousin. Let me tell you what he was. My uncle was married, my sister, Manuel Collins, was married my mother's sister, Virginia, was her name. Eddie Nair was my mother's name, Irene. And Mr. Collins lost his wife, my aunt. He wasn't my uncle no more, but he married. And he always treated me like I was his nephew, you see. And he horsed me, and of course never did pay me. No, just like my uncle. He says, Joe, I want you to cut that corn over there for me. I ain't got nobody over there to cut that corn and bundle it. I'll get the boys to help you. Right. The truth is, one of his boys went to the army with me.
Mm-hmm.
1939, I believe. Mm-hmm. No, wait a minute. I believe it was less of the 40s when we come back. Why, we never went over.
Yeah.
We just went to the camps and training.
Yeah.
Ask him where the house was and about the brand.
Okay. Where is the Luhan house located?
Huh?
Where is the Luhan house located?
You know where this creek is, don't you? You go to next home. Go to Wheeler's.
Mm-hmm.
You can get there both ways, but the best way is to go to next home and cross that road or that bridge like you're going to Clayton from Mexico. Then go around, not very far from the creek. From that creek, you cross that on the bridge there. You go around by Bill May and some other ranch there, and you come up to the Luhan place and you'll find out their old ranch. Of course, and I don't know how many years before I was born, you know.
Is that in New Mexico?
No.
It's in Oklahoma?
Because I was born in Oklahoma, you know. And I'm still in Oklahoma.
Yeah. What brand did Mr. Luhan have? What was his brand?
I had that present. Was a name. Okay. Well, he sells and buys, you know, sometimes buy something with it was already branded, and they buy the brand too, you see. You know how they used to do. So I can't tell you, one of the brands that I remember of was M.
An M brand?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it had over here. Spear, or I don't know what they used to call it. Something else. Yeah, Mr. Luhan. And then I remember another kind of funny brand he had, but I can't remember well enough, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I got too many summers or winters or something right on me. You're going to get that away, you know. Where a lot of time I put skillet on the table there and put grease on it and lit. Then I remember I have to do something else. And I smell. Let me can run, you know. And boy, I don't got no good memory.
Did you?
But all things I remember pretty good, you know.
Was your father on the cattle roundups and the cattle drives?
Oh yeah.
Did he ever talk about them?
Very little. But he had some from Texas into Oklahoma, Kansas, or somewhere, you know.
Was he on the Chisholm Trail?
No, that was here. He was over that big ranchers, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Luhan was on them, that, you know, it's a road here that would be into this world.
Santa Fe Trail?
Yeah, Santa Fe Trail.
Did she?
He was in the last roundup that they had in the Kansas. But there was a bunch of wagons, you know. Some of them had mules, some of them had horses. The ones that had oxes, why, they had oxes also through because they couldn't keep up with them. You know, oxes don't go as far as mules or horses. They just have to stop quicker.
Do you ever work with, which do you prefer to work with, horses or mules?
What? What I drove to?
Yeah, do you like to work with horses or mules?
Don't make no difference. Mules are gentle, but I'd rather work with mules, you know.
What about oxen? You ever work with them?
No, no, I don't think I ever see but one ox.
Yeah.
And they told me there was, I don't know, I'm not sure if it was an ox or just a bull.
Ever hear any stories about the Santa Fe Trail?
Yeah, I've heard some of them talk, you know.
Tell me, what'd they say?
Well, they said that it was pretty dangerous, you know, especially crossing Cimarron County.
Why?
Because right here the Indians was in on this river here. And they didn't want to leave there, you know. They put up pretty good fights, they tell me. But, you know, they had them bested. They had this bow and arrows. We had one shot gun, but they were pretty fast loading it, you know.
What else? What other stories have you heard about the Santa Fe Trail?
Huh?
Any more stories about the Santa Fe
No,
Trail?
I wasn't interested about things past, you know. I never did see. I wish I was, you know, when I hear them say something about Santa Fe Trail. I wish I was here. I'm born this bit wild too. I guess I would. Being wild, I would have been here then, you know. Just as wild as the rest of them. But no more. I know that Lord's got us under. I learned that when I was in the Army. Boy, you was in the Army?
Yes, yes, sir.
Why, you wasn't you wasn't allowed to turn around and say, Corporal, what do you say? Go on about your business. They tell you one time, and that's all, you know. If you don't pay no attention, it's your fault.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
That's true.
Ask him if he knew any of the working cowboys, if he saw him Brandon or rounding up or had a chuck wagon.
Yeah, okay. Were you on any of the cattle drives?
No.
No.
No, I drive from next home to Clayton. I'll drive from Kenton to Pelt.
Mm-hmm.
No, the little Lord, text line.
Mm-hmm.
That's all, just little drives, you know.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Roundups, I've had a lot of them. I'm pretty good hand at castrating calves,
Yeah.
you know.
Tell me about a roundup. How do you organize a roundup?
Well, a cattleman that's got a lot of cattle, why, he pick out his man. He know everybody, you know. He know everybody in the country. He pick out his man and tell him what day he's going to start. And if he don't start it close to the ranch, they always close somewhere, you know, close. And they set a camp there, cook, tents. And a tent of yours is a horse with saddle and a slicker tied on the.
Mm-hmm.
You have to watch that herd, you know.
How many cattle would you round up at one time?
At one time, Wrights, Mr. Wright, Rufus Wright, right here, that last one. Well, he didn't have very many, but he had something from Texas, you know, pretty swift. I'll rather for being a, 300 or 400, you know, than just a little bunch of 150, 200 of them, you know, wild things. You have to have a pretty good horse so you can keep them together. And if it come a lightning storm, you know, you had a job for 2-3 days getting them things. But they was pretty smart, you know. They just run to where they can get protection. Stop. You'll find them right there. But a lot of times you'll find them 10, 15 miles away. You know.
Brandon.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, Brandon, the man that had more fun was the ropers like my daddy, you know. And there'd been a lot of fellows over here with old man Black, who was good and best ones, and from Kenton. And there was another Albert, no, one-eyed man, worked for Luhan, but he worked on this Brandon everywhere, you know. They put them to rope, and all young fellas, you know, like I was when I was 20, when I was 18, bucking them calves, you know, branding the calves. They never did brand no old cattle like brand the calves, you know. Every calf had to be roped, put down and branded, earmarked. That, but if you're going to brand like they do nowadays, you know, they brand them on the chute. They got a squeezer on the end of the chute. They put one in there, the fellas with their horn ready, you know, and the others ready to remark the earmark if it's going to do anything to it. If they don't, just let it go, you know. The ones here has been cut. Can't cut it no more. But to put that brand on on the hip, on the ribs, or shoulder, or wherever they're going to put it. Mostly on the right here on the hip, where you can locate it from a horse, you know. And they get up and eat, and they wait for their grub, you know.
Well, the chuck wagon.
Huh?
The chuck wagon.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of times the cooks, oh, they were pretty good cooks. A lot of them let you eat right there on the sun with your plate on between the legs, you know.
What'd you eat on the Roundup?
Huh?
What kind of food you eat on the Roundup?
All the best, and I wish the best bean, chili, and beef, you know, all kinds of beef, and every way, the way you want it. Yeah, they had beef.
Tell me about old Fort Nichols.
Oh, it's a bunch of rocks. You can see where the foundation, where the fort was, still. And that away south is a grave. Spanish fella buried there.
When did they build Fort Nichols?
Huh?
When did they build Fort Nichols?
I don't know. I've heard the name of the general that was there. They was living. I don't know.
You ever
Santa Fe or something.
you ever work cattle around the old fort?
Yeah, there's cattle now.
What did that fort look like in the old days when you worked it?
No, there was already ruined, demolished. You could see where the little houses was on a pretty big old corral. And I guess they had the little places where they had the camps. The soldiers had camps there. I got enough for 3 days.
Ever do any rodeoing?
Huh?
Ever do any rodeoing?
Riding on the rodeo?
Yeah.
I roped on the rodeo.
You did?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Well, over in Yeso, New Mexico, I used to, that's where I got married the first time, you know. I was young. I ride pretty good then. I ride steers. We double, pretty good steer with boys over there, white boys raised from me. Smith was the last name. I've seen one not very long ago. I see one of them. And fishing. We was old then. And that Smith watched me rope and hold the cow, and another boy come right onto the cow and milk one drop or two, you know, just enough to show that they had milk, you know. But I wasn't fast enough. With nothing Spanish boy that was a little bit faster than I was, you know. And I'll tell you why. He had a better horse than I had. I didn't blame myself, you know. I might have been all the cause of it. But he was best.
What was his name?
What I think. And riding, Papa had bought a horse. And he trained it to run. And they got to, it was pretty good. Then the fella got jealous. And we worked for him. And they had plenty of money. So they bought the horse. Pop sold it. And he says, no, it's just like this. He says, you're going to run this horse for me. If I ever run it, you're going to run this horse. Papa was tall, pretty tall guy, long mustache, and Papa says, yeah. And he was older then, you know. He wasn't as old as I am now, but he was pretty old. That's one place where I rodeoed, you know. Riding steers, me and them Smiths, you know. Oh, I worked at everything them days. I got married. I was married then. And we had to work at anything you find, you know, to support your wife.
What was your wife's name?
Huh?
What was your wife's name?
Dominga, Sunday. Dominga, Garza. They was Garzas before they married, and I was Garza. I married into another Garza family.
Yeah. Where was she from?
Yes, New Mexico.
Where did you start school?
Huh?
Where did you start to school?
Here? Oklahoma.
Here in Boy City?
No, it wasn't no when we were at school. No, same years after it was 1907. Well, 10 years old when I started school with one of the Collins, Reuben Collins. But he was my cousin. He was my mother's son. My mother's sister's son.
What was the name of the school that you started?
Well, the name of the school was Luhan Schoolhouse.
How many kids went there?
Not very many that I can remember. There was a lot of growing kids. Big kids, you know.
Remember your teacher's name?
Huh?
Do you remember your teacher's name?
Reuben Collins.
Oh, that was the teacher's name.
Yeah.
When did Mr. Luhan establish that ranch?
Oh, I ain't gonna start to do that because I don't know.
How big was it?
Huh?
How big was the ranch?
Well, the biggest ranch in the country here. They had cattle and they had sheep. They had a lot of cattle. Not a lot of cattle, not too much, but they had a lot of sheep.
They did. Tell me about running sheep. How is running sheep different than cattle?
Well, I'll tell you, you can run more sheep in the last land. Yeah. In the last land. And even the sheep hurts the grass with their hoofs, you know, more than what they eat. Because they got little hoofs and they travel too much, you know, and travel too close together. That's the reason the herders always, I've heard the man down, keep them spread, keeping just a wide spread as they can, from not hurting the pastures.
How many head of sheep did you have?
Oh, we never did own very many sheep. We just worked for somebody that had sheep, you know. We had many. Oh, I guess one time, just night like the other night, you know, windy and but it wasn't very windy. The wind stopped about the middle of the night. That was about, the 10th of May, the 15th. Well, the 10th of May, but I don't remember what year. Come snow after a big wind and a lot of clouds, and we had about 13, 14 head of sheep, and a few. That is my dad and my uncle, you know. One live on the one side of the creek and the other. My uncle lives on the north side, we live on the south side of the creek. And they both buy them sheep to eat, you know, have something to eat. And goats.
Do you have 10 sheep?
Huh?
You can more or less just let cattle roam by themselves. Do you let the sheep roam also?
Yeah. Them time, but they don't run them in the same pasture, you know.
When do you have your sheep round up?
Well, it's round up all the time. You see, they have to take care of it because there were coyotes here and wolves. Saw the wolves? You don't never seen one, I don't think.
Yeah.
Huh?
Mhm.
Have you seen a wolf?
Yeah.
Well, they're bigger than the coyotes, you know. Big as that dog I've got side with sheep. Why they're destructive, you know. They kill one just to eat, and they just get to kill him, you know. Wolf does.
Yes. What kind of wolves were they?
Oh, there was supposed to be gray wolf, you know, but there was nothing. And they changed in the weather, you know, just like everything else, you know. Winter, their hair on it, you could see them long ways, kind of whitish. And,
Did the coyotes kill many sheep?
yeah, they're just as bad as wolves. Only coyotes, they're running, well, one of them could do as much a job as 3 or 4.
So you have to tend the sheep pretty close.
Yes, well, you have to bring them in, put them in the little corral, you know, keep them from, and a lot of time in the pasture, if you got them running loose, you got to keep an eye on them, make the coyote dig under the fence, you know, neat wire fence, or if it don't got neat wire fence, you got one man out there, horseback or foot, or some way, just looking, you know, with his pistol or rifle.
Ever see a wolf pack?
Huh?
Ever see a pack of wolves around the sheep?
No, I've seen them. Oh, I've seen 2 or 3 wolves. But coyotes, I've seen that.
Do the coyotes run in the pack?
No, they don't run in the pack. They fight, you know.
Yeah.
3 coyotes, the most they ever attack a bunch of sheep. And if they attack a bunch of sheep, they kill one. If it's 3, never mind. They all get busy eating, the sheep get away, you know, and go to the house. Or go somewhere where but they get to eating. And one of them don't do that. One of them kill that one and they just go after another one, and it's funny. Just keep killing. Kill 2, 3.
Well, asking if sheep ever stampede.
Do the sheep ever stampede?
No, not as bad as cattle. I've been in one. Since then, I wasn't but about 18. And, well, I was sleeping under the wagon at mine. Got my bedroll, you know. I was going to do like Papa did. And I was asleep. And I hear tins, bucket rattle, but I just, you know, boys, you know how to sleep. Well, I heard them. And pretty soon I hear a crack of lightning. And the cattle was out of the way. But that's a crazy thing, that man. Who may who to heal. I called my uncle, it wasn't my uncle. His daughter lives right there in Moses. He was a boss. But he didn't know, poor guy. I don't think he knew that the rain was coming from us. But they ought to move him, you know, away from that direction of the camp. And it was Dikasan, the cattle. And Papa's supposed to be in the balls. Dikasan, he was a Frenchman. Well, but Mr. Hill, I think everybody cried, you know, and the clouds come right. When they hear the first thunder, you know, the start. But I was under the wagon. But he got the others that was on the side of the bush or somewhere out there. Says, roll up your bed, roll up your bed. Rain a coming. Boy, they rolled up their beds. And I did too. Well, I hear them holler, you know, there's rain coming. I got my bed out from under the wagon and I rolled it up. And I threw them in the wagon. The wagon was covered, you know. And we got there waiting for the rain. Mm-hmm. And boy, here comes the cattle. Boom. They passed no further than them trees right there from us, you know. A whole herd. They would have, if it would have hit that camp, they would have run over the wagon and everything, you know. They don't care.
How'd you stop them?
Gone.
Yeah. How'd you stop them?
Huh?
How'd you stop them?
Man, the cowboys don't get on the lead on the front. They get right there and get his gun and shoot, you know. See, maybe he could stop him. Maybe. A lot of time to stop him. But they'd be way 18 to 20 miles below the camp, you know. And then as soon as they stopped them, they started back, too. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. That wasn't funny. It wasn't funny. Cowboy life.
How many? Oh.
And I was 18 years old when I was working for Deep Sand. Mm-hmm. And that bunch of cattle passed right by. And that cook said, good thing they missed us that far. He says, yeah, would have break every pan I had to cook it.
How many wagons do you have with you?
Oh, and we just one wagon for the cook business, another wagon or two if there was too many cowboys. I had two.
Did the cook take care of the wagon?
Yeah.
No, grease the axle?
The cook and the driver. The cook don't drive. He just cook.
What did the driver have to do to keep the wagon up?
Huh?
What would the driver have to do to keep the wagon going? What kind of maintenance? If
3 wagons. Well, I've seen many 3 wagons, you know. They can put a lot of beds in. Two wagons. Yeah, that's got the driver's beds and the grub, and the talk box behind.
Where'd you sleep at night?
Huh?
Where'd you sleep at night?
On the ground.
On the ground? Under the wagon?
Onto the wagon, on top of the wagon, or whatever you do. Well, whatever you like. You know.
You ever
On-
grease the axles?
Huh?
Ever grease the axles on the wagons?
Yeah.
Tell
yeah.
me how you do that.
Well, you jack a wheel. Sometimes, if you don't have no jack, you got to do something there. Move your wheel out till you take the tap off, you know, and then get it past it. But you got to have something, if you're by yourself, to prop the wheel so it won't fall, you know. Prop the wheel and then grease it. You have a big old knife, you know.
What kind of
with
grease?
that, axle grease.
How do you loosen that tap?
Oh, they had all the wagons had a wrench, big old wrench made about like that, you know, with a long handle back here. And this goes on the tap.
Did your family celebrate Cinco de Mayo?
No, that's a Mexican day, you know. Ours is 4th of July.
Yeah. What'd you do on 4th of July?
Now, well, when you get up, how old are you?
38?
Oh, you was little. When I was 28, you better not ask me what I do. July.
Why?
I won't answer.
I hope you had a good time.
I feel like hear that laughing. Oh, I can say a lot of things funny, but I haven't started now. Looks like I am going to.
I can have her leave the room.
Huh?
I can have her leave.
Okay, if you do that, you better just start it. Oh, I'm religious, you know. I'm Catholic. I got 2 O's on my dog tags there. Then a box behind the mouth.
Yeah.
There they are.
They are right there. My dog tags are right there. I ain't got nothing to prove but a little card here.
Oh yeah.
You got double O's, that's Catholic. Yeah, well, you see, boys, you know, I never drink. I don't like lie either. I told you why, because I can't prove a lie. I can prove it a truth. But one friend of yours, you know, good friend of yours, you come together and hug and laugh, you know, what something passed, you know, and remember. And he reaching for a bottle of fish. I don't know what I want to. Oh, go ahead, be a man. You know how. You know how, boys. You've been one. Particularly too many, you know. And for one of your friends get in trouble, I said, no, I took what's going on. That's 4th of July, you know. Good 4th of July.
Oh, how long would you celebrate?
Oh, sometimes 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
When we had rodeo the last 3 or 4 days, you know, and a big old, and let me tell you, I didn't like that, but one of the girls, Luhan girl, Molly, that's the last one that died over here, Clay. Had the priest to come over here, you know. We don't ever see no help from the priest. A man gonna tell you a lie if I ever says the priest help a poor. Or maybe on bed, ready to die, he might do something for you, give you some. But no, pocket. You know, and I'm a Catholic, but I does the same he does. I don't give him nothing, but because I need it, you know. But that's the richest man there is. All them good Catholics like Luhan, so I watch him. Think they're Catholic. And they're in their head, and let the rest of the people see, you know, they look around, see who got nice shoes, good shiny shoes, you know. That's religion. That goes with it. And I got a pair of boots over there that have been shined for two years, I believe. I use boots all the time when I get in the house because my legs get too weak. But I'll tell you, he helped buy the priest helped buy the lumber and make a good old floor, you know. You put canvas around, you know, on one side, on top, in case. And boy, they have a dance. People inside dancing, you know, and the boys outside fighting. Yeah, this world is that way.
Tell me about your early Christmases.
Huh?
How'd you celebrate your early Christmases?
Oh, that's quiet. That's quiet. It isn't like 4th of July or there's another day that we celebrate.
Halloween?
Halloween, yeah. But not like 4th of July. Yeah. How did I celebrate Christmas? Well, the trouble of it is, you don't go no place. Some of your people come to your house, you can't go nowhere because you got 10 people that come in have Christmas with you. Boy, I had uncles, brother-in-law, the cousin. There was violins, good ones. And we go get them. And we invite the rest of the people. We have a little dance of our own on Christmas. The Catholics don't think this very good, but we done it anyway. But feast, we have a good feast, present exchange. That's what we celebrate.
What kind of presents would you give?
Oh, of all kinds. Some of them give pretty nice. If you have had a good cousin, I'll give him a horse, you know. We never was poor on horses. No, sir. I thought I had a bunch of horses all the time. I'll give him a horse. But, you know, some of them would give me a watch or something like that.
What breed of horses did you have?
Huh?
What breed of horses did you have?
Well, we had New Mexico horses, you know, what was raised right around Albuquerque, and them was good horses.
Ever work with Mustangs?
Yeah, they was awful wild, you know, to break.
Did they make a good horse?
Huh? They make a good horse when you get 'em broke. A lot of them you have to just take 'em out there and let the coyotes kill 'em. You can't break 'em. That's so mean. They don't never forget, like a bad man.
When you were a child, what kind of games did you play?
Huh?
What kind of games did you play?
Oh, we play horseshoe, we play everything. Patrol, you know, don't never know what patrol is. We had a round wheel. And then we sat all around that wheel, you know. And where that's pointing, you know, you have to get up and say speech and say what. I sure did hate it, you know, to point towards me. We get him to get, some of them, you know, some old man could get up and tell pretty good, you know. Just give a speech, maybe of the religion, maybe of something happened someplace, some events, you know, and what caused it and all that. That's pretty good, and kind of make you think that it wasn't right, you know.
How many years did you go to school?
Huh?
How many years did you go to school?
Oh, not very many. From 1907, I went up to 1904. I mean, 4 years.
Okay, 1911?
11.
Yeah.
Well, I went in. Then we moved to Luhan Ranch, and I went there 2 more years. And I was 18, you know.
Did you speak Spanish at home?
Huh?
Did you speak Spanish at home?
Yeah, sometimes with some old folks, you know. But me and my brother and my sister, we didn't use it. We used English or mixed it up. But we know both ways, you know, how to get along.
Do you remember Statehood Day?
Huh?
Do you remember Statehood Day when Oklahoma became a state in 1907?
Yes.
Tell me about
I tell you, I was right there at Luhan place when right after that where they come over here surveying the land, you know. Right after that in 1908.
Was there a big celebration?
Huh?
Was there a big celebration for
They
statehood?
had it over here, you know.
Did you go to it?
No. My daddy went to it. I don't know how old I was. I wasn't very old. There was a bad man over here in Clayton. Oh, what's all over to New Mexico? They call him Blackjack. I don't remember what year it was. Anyway, I don't know what even I was born. Anyway, my dad and my mother was already married. And my mother said that he walked in in. He says, have I got any clothes? Pretty early. Yeah, where are you going? Oh, I'm going around the country.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, my mother asked him, well, I don't know that what I was born or not. I don't think so. I don't know. I heard the story right after it. And Papa says, I'm going to Clayton. Mama wanted to know why. Why he was going to go. Papa says, well, they're gonna hang Black Jack, and I want to see him hang. I want to be sure that that guy's hung. So he saddled his horse. Went.
They hang him?
Yeah.
Where they hang him?
Right in Tatum, right there with the courthouse.
Mm-hmm. What year was that?
I don't know. That's what I don't know when I was born or not. I might never was born.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've heard my mother and my dad talk about that. You know, oh, he was a killer. Mm-hmm. Brought the trains.
Did you know Blackjack?
No, I've seen his picture.
Yeah. Do you remember when they broke up the big ranches?
Huh?
Do you remember when they broke up these ranches when all the homesteaders came in?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
But I heard the people talk.
What'd they say about it?
They just said he robbed and take away what he wants or what he can handle, you know. He had one or two men with him, you know. And when he got caught, why, he got shot robbing a train at Fort New Mexico.
Who's that?
Blackjack.
Blackjack.
And was too a little bitty man, ugly as a mud fence. He was a sheriff, and a white man was his deputy. They went after him, and they caught him. But he was already, the man in the car shot his arm with a shotgun. And you know, that's the reason he didn't put up their decoy. And they brought him to, well, he didn't resist conviction. They took him to Clayton, kept him there a long time, so they got him well, nearly well. And they built a big old 14 feet, they tell me, platform, put him up there, and asked him if what people wanted to talk to the people, what he wanted to say to the people. You want to talk to the people? No. I want to tell all these kids, little kids, don't try to be a bad man like me. Don't never think about being a bad man. Is that obvious? Cover up his face. You know, I don't remember. I remember his name pretty soon. The one that was down there with the trap, you know. And he was standing on that door. When Tom Gray says, Turnino Pinal was that ugly man. One of the doors he went down, and that cord, that rope he had made out of silk, tell me. I didn't, that's just what I heard. And 14 feet, you know, they had him made. He didn't have about 6 inches before he hit the ground, you know, when he hit that loop. His head come off. Silk rope, you know, just big as a twine, you know. Head rolled out of the way and body began to jump in the old tornado, jump over that hill. Keep it. That's what I heard, so I never seen that. The people that was there, you know.
Did your father file on a homestead?
Huh?
Did your father file on a homestead when
Yes.
this land was opened?
Yes.
Where'd he file?
Right here in the prairie. Right there by Michener.
Do you remember when they broke up all the ranches? You know, like the Luhan Ranch and all that, and they opened that land for settlers to come in?
No, I don't remember that. If I was here, I've heard the people sort of talk about. They was pretty careful about holding their papers, you know.
What kind of house did your father build on the homestead?
Rock house.
Rock house? Is it still there?
No, just, well, still the walls up just high as this. Some of them. And all he built after we was born, or kids born, he built a lumber house on it. Needed no lumber house there anymore.
When did they settle Boy City?
Boy City?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't tell you the date or well, more or less. I tell you, I was a pretty good sized boy. Oh, maybe I was 17. And Papa was pretty good gathering a bunch of people, you know, to share sheep. He gave them so much and board them. And that uncle of mine, he packed the wool in sacks. Old man Collins. He knew how because he had a lot of sheep. And we went through here. Oh my God. I don't remember what year. And mister, there was 2 little houses here. And we went right on through Guyman. It wasn't very big. Guyman wasn't very big. We went right on down there where they call it Big Springs, some kind of a springs over there, to an American man that had a lot of sheep. And my daddy had about 20 hens. Sharing by hand. And he feed him and give him 6 cents.
6 cents.
Yeah, and he gets 6.
That's 6 cents per sheep?
Yeah. One of my uncles could make $6 a day. Oh, could make it a fortune. $6 at that time? When any workman get $1 a day, he made $6. And there were 3 of them that could do that.
You ever shear sheep?
Yeah.
How long does it take to shear a sheep?
Oh, I wasn't very good. I was pretty good with machine. Oh, I shear sheep, I guess, in less than 10 minutes. That is, if it wasn't rambling. If it was rambling, that'd take me about 20. But this other sheep didn't have no wool here, didn't have no wool from the knee on down here, didn't have no wool on the face. That's a hard place to shear. And this ramblets, why, they got wool even to the eyes, you know. You have to shear the eyes so they can see to get around.
How many hired hands did your father have to shear sheep?
Oh, he had 25.
And what time of year do you shear them?
I'll tell you, there'll be after lambing time, there's lamb in May. And it'll be about the last of June starts out. The little lamb's about a month old, you know. And some of them a little later, they used to shear the sheep when they can get a crew to shear them, you know.
And how many pounds of wool could your uncle put in one sack?
Huh?
How many pounds of wool would go in one sack?
300.
300 pounds.
Yes, sir.
What'd
Well,
you,
I know.
where'd you sell the wool?
Huh?
Who'd you sell the wool to?
Oh, they sent it to Boston. I don't know what Massachusetts is. That I know. That I can prove that. Because the buyers buy it here and take it to Clayton, you know, and they send it to Boston. That things I know, you know, because I was right there. And I asked the fellow to buy this. Because, you know, kid wants to know something that...
What kind of sheep did you have? What breed of sheep did you have?
Well, there was 3 kinds.
What are they?
There was the Ramblers, Cordales, and this black face.
Which do you like best?
I like Cordales. They sure fight for their lamb. And another thing, they can suck if they have a lamb at night. That lamb, when they get up in the morning, he already sucks and is ready to go. He's the solid little lamb. Ramblets, pretty weak little lamb, you know. And if they don't suck, then you can't make them suck. They're stiff on their jaws. They die. But if you, the sheep man on with Ramblets best sheep because you give a lot of wool. Heavy. Not heavy with wool, heavy with that grease, you know. And that's what they wanted over there. They get the wool, get the grease. I don't know, make some kind of a medicine.
How many pounds of wool can you get off one cordell?
Well, I don't know. Let me see. A little over 9 pounds. No. That's a black face. Cordell give about 13, 18, up to 18 pounds. One fleet.
Do you remember World War One?
Which one was that? The
19
German?
Yeah, 1917, 1918. The first
No,
war.
I remember.
Did you have to register?
No, I wasn't old enough. I wasn't 18 till the September come, you know. About that time the war was over.
Was there a big celebration around here on Armistice Day when the war ended?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Oh, they just had this like 4th of July, you know. They had balls in the canteens and beer joints and everything. Just everybody was glad that it was over with.
Were there any big moonshiners around here?
Well, yes.
Tell me about the moonshiners.
Well, they fix a copper bucket. Some of them was moonshiners, really moonshiners. I've heard that they could put one barrel of mash. You know what mash is?
What is it?
Mash is what they make a whiskey out of. They put it in barrels, 50 gallon barrels, I believe they are, them wooden barrels, you know. They wouldn't put them in anything else. It had to be wooden. In them days, there were a lot of wooden barrels, you know. And they put their stuff in there. Their grain, their yeast. You know, this you make bread with, you know. And sugar. And they make a big old kettle where they can put the whole barrel in there.
Where'd they make all this?
Huh?
Where'd they make this?
Oh, there was some here on the river. They tell me. I don't know. I never said that. Somebody else said that. And there's some over here on the Tucumcari, Fort Sumner, Captain Mountain, that I heard of, you know, that I heard the people about the moonshine. I drank some, I tasted it, you know, didn't like it very good.
How'd they deliver the moonshine?
Huh?
How'd they deliver that moonshine?
Oh boy, I tell you, I was in Fort Sumner one time for a dance. I was married, you know, and I took my wife to the dance. And she had folks in Fort Sumner. We live in Yeso. And I went to Fort Sumner, and there a man come in there in a white horse. And the fellow asked me if he wanted a shot of whiskey. I said, oh, I wouldn't mind a little shot. I never did make style of myself. I said, I don't mind. Well, I didn't have it. He said, hey, that white man come up there and I said, what do you want? They both of them look around, him and the man with the white horse. And he said, do you want a pint? Yeah. Okay. They made a deal for a pint. Well, I'll be back pretty soon. He just went round the horse. Now, believe this, because I can prove it. Just went around the horse, and when I got on the other side, I thought he had it in his pocket. He wasn't that fool. He had it, he didn't have it in his pocket. He had it tied on that horse, that white horse tail. He went around that horse, you know, that was so they couldn't pin nothing on him. That horse didn't belong to him. He was gentle. He just went around the horse, and that fella just handed him a pint of whiskey. We took a drink. I like that whiskey. That was a white man. I don't remember his name. I've heard him call his name. But he went around and got it. I thought he might went around the horse to get it out of his pocket. Then we walked off, you know. And I took my little drink. I said, that's good stuff. He said, take another one. I said, no. One is good enough for me. And he said, I said, well, he just went around that. He didn't want us to see it get him out of his pocket. He said, don't you fool yourself. He don't have it in his pocket. Don't you fool yourself. He don't carry nothing on him. I said, when the heck he had it? Says tied on the tail of that horse. Pretty soon he goes out back to where he got his station, where he got his whiskey station, where tied 2 or 3 more bottles and comes right back. He don't lope, he just does a horse walk.
Tell me about the Depression, 1930s.
Oh, we had a bunch of sheep, and that's the year my daddy died, you know. And he had a pool hall and I was running. He couldn't pay me. Wasn't no money.
Where was the pool hall?
Huh?
Where was the pool hall?
Yes, New Mexico. And him and Juan Ness had a pool hall. And I was running. And both of them couldn't pay me. But I had a little cafe right by me and my wife. We had very little trade, you know, but all them old fellas, you know, come in for a cup of coffee, and donut, piece of pie, something. We'd eat on our sheep and lamb and goats. Fine, we made it. Our depression was something. Even hurt the man that had little money. Because they couldn't sell nothing, you know. Papa had a lot of corn. Even had the popcorn.
Did you keep all your sheep?
Huh?
Were you able to keep all your sheep through those years?
Yeah, we kept it. Well, we didn't kill very many at one time, you know. We do with something after we could kill one.
Tell me about the dust storms.
Huh?
Tell me about the dust storms.
Was you in it? Did you hear about it?
I heard about it.
I was right here on this river, right there, with a bunch of cattle.
You know, yeah, that big. Tell me what it looked like.
Let me tell you, I trade a horse. I traded 2 horses for a team horse. Oh, he liked my horse. I live here, right here, makes home. I come back from that was right after I lost my wife, first wife. Well, hey, I saw him drive up to the store, and from the store he went back to the little place right to the here. And he said, you come up there, and you and that Ernest fella riding that horse of yours. I'd like to see if I can make a deal with you. I said, I'm going to trade you 2 work horses for 2 saddle horses. Okay. Ernest was with me, that boy that went to the army with me. We both was right here. And I went over there and we made a deal, a trade. I took my horse home. I rode one of them. And Ernest riding behind the saddle. We put the saddle on the other horse. He carried on, but he wouldn't let nobody ride on. He was mean. And Ernest wouldn't ride. And hey, we went to the ranch, and the old man says, whose horse is them in the corral? I said, mine. Looks like workhorse. I said, yeah, it's a workhorse. He said, you wouldn't mind to use him in the wagon and move up to Cimarron River. No, I don't mind. Hitch him up in that wagon with that little house on it, camp house. And you go and take over on that place over there. So I just hitch him up. Boy, I went all the way, pretty good, but I knew it was one of them. Look back and look and see if I was driving her. That horse kept looking back. I never saw a horse so good before. He just stood out and looked. Just one way, you know. I got to that creek. Went right down that creek. Now I had to get on the other side. Got on the bottom and pulled up and sat down. He looked back. That wooden pool was balky, boy. You could have killed them things. But the wooden pool. And the sand was about that deep again. But they just wouldn't pull that way. So I left it right in the creek there. And I went help Ernest, got my other horse. I turned them out on the other side, harness on and everything. And I just boarded my horse and went to help Ernest. We got the cattle up to the camp. And I said, well, I'll go and cook supper. You just stay here till the quiets down. He knew all about it, you know. He was raised here. He stayed right there till about 8 o'clock, you know, when it got good and dark. They wouldn't go. Guy was pretty smart, too. And I started cooking supper. And then I decided to go and get the harness off of them horses. I unharnessed one. And I looked back out on the north, there was little mountain over here looks like a cloud coming from the north. And I look on the other side and it looks like it was all of it. So I just take the harness off the horse and turn them loose. I put the hobbles on one up. And that one that turns back to look at you. I put hobbles on him and turn the other loose. And I heard Ernest coming in, whistling, you know. I didn't much take the harness off the other horse when that thing grabbed me. And I was no further than from here to the other side of the road. You know, from where the road come up. Back there was a little bank about this high.
About a foot or two high?
Huh?
About 1 or 2 feet high?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where I was. But I had to go that way to hit the road, and the wagon was in the creek. And I told Ernest, you follow that road. But he seen that would come too fast. He put spurs on his horse and he went over there. He just got to the wagon when that thing covered him up. And he just tied his horse in the wagon, put his saddle off and threw it onto the wagon and got in the wagon. And he didn't find nobody. The supper was ready. He shut the door, the window. And then they opened the door and holler. And I hear him holler. But I hear him holler about that direction. If I were to walk 10 feet up that way, I got off this bank. But I hear him talk about it like that. And I just went straight to it. I couldn't find the road. You couldn't see nothing. You couldn't see your hands right there. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty soon I stepped off of that thing. And I had spurs. You see, when I fell, I doubled up my foot and stuck that spur right there. Hurt myself a bit, bleed. And I got up. I says I knew there was a bank there. I didn't went far enough the other way so I could had sloped, you know. I come in there. We talked. I says, what's it? Wind's not a blowing, he said. But we can't see nothing. We let the what you call it, lantern.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the lamp.
Yeah, but we let the lantern. No, you could see the light, but you couldn't see nowhere else. We let the lamp and the same thing. I said, you find the eat sheds? He said, I took them and put them, every one of them, in the stove. We had, right there is that little stove right outside there. It's like the one I got in the kitchen, but real small, 3 burners. Mm-hmm. We had that in that house. And you know, I've sat down there and said we can't eat. We could smell something. And we didn't know where that stuff was coming in. they must come through a little bit of hole. But Ernest was, well, raising the camp, you know. He put all our eats in the oven and covered up with the towels, you know. Dish towels. We said. All right. I sat down by the window, see when it was going to quit. About 3 long hours. About 3 long hours I hear me, because he had one bad ear and the other wasn't very good. He's still that way. He went to the army and he passed with his 1 year. And doggone, I said, did you hear that? What? Seemed like I heard somebody holler. He listened a little bit. Pretty soon another holler. But look way off. So I said, let me go out and shut the door and stay inside. I'm going to listen. I went up the little road all right. I didn't crawl over the bank. I hear that. Just from the edge of that mountain was this way. It seemed like that holler was come from the way I hear it. I said, Ernest, I hear that voice of that boy. It looks like a boy. Then, what about Alfred Gallegos or Martinez? Alfred. He works up here with somebody. What did he do? He herd sheep. And I heard it. I said, can you see a watch? No. You get it close to the light and they couldn't. I said, but you can guess how long I can go to that, about 2 hours. I said, you wait 2 hours or less. Just as fast as I can walk that way. I couldn't see the mountain. And I hollered back and he heard me. There wasn't no wind. And he said something. And I said, you keep a hollering. And I just keep a hollering. Every once in a while, a little closer. And that was that boy that he said from Road Canyon. I said, what are you doing? I've been lost ever since this hit me. Where's your sheep? He says, oh, I just put them in the pasture. As I shut the pasture and I'll try to walk to the house, and here I am. Why, hey, I said, the house way over here. Just keep a hollering up. And, and we started back. I said, wait a minute, I'll holler. And I heard his holler. I said, now we're going to go to that. Yeah, I got my camp there. The camp house. Okay. All right, we started. And I began to see something. Looks like a hole up there. You know. I said, can you see that? Yeah. Looks like a hole there. Yeah. We walked till we got to the campfire here. I said, come over there. Whenever you feel a road, rutches or a road, why, we can go. The camp's in a creek. A horse wouldn't pull. All right, we got in there. About that time, after a while, you could see something with the lights of the lantern and the lamp. We had a kerosene lamp, you know. Yeah, a little bit more, a little bit more. And I went outside, and that was that hole. It looks a whole lot bigger. You see, they was going over at the storm. And pretty soon, we could see the moon back that way. But that hole was still here, right straight where they were thinner, you know. They were settling down. What was that? I don't know. And I wished I had kept some of that powder, you know, somewhere and see where it was, where they come from. But I didn't.
I heard. Someone told me it came from South Dakota.
Well,
Came from that far. That's what I heard.
back here
Nope. Yeah, from the north.
from the north.
Whichever way's north from here.
Mm-hmm. You getting tired?
Huh?
You getting tired?
No.
Tell me about the Army.
Well, I didn't like it. And that's it.
Where'd you go to boot camp?
Huh?
Where'd you go to boot camp?
Oh, I went to San Diego, California, Camp Calhoun. What camp you was in?
I was Fort Bliss,
Oh, in Texas.
Yeah.
El Paso.
El Paso.
They put it out there where they could just grab us. You went through?
Mhm.
Which way you went through?
Which way I went through? What?
What state you?
Oh, what state?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Oklahoma down to Texas.
And then from Texas?
I went to Georgia.
Oh, you went this way.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you went overseas,
Yeah.
don't you?
Mhm.
But what's the last time you went? Before you,
Washington. Up at Seattle, Washington.
was there any other countries that you went through?
No. Then went overseas from there.
From Washington?
Yeah.
Oh. From Fort Lewis, Washington.
Mhm.
Huh? I was Fort Lewis.
You were.
Yeah.
Did you go overseas?
No.
What'd you do in the Army? What was your job?
Well, well, I had two. I was infantry first. And I was too short. They put me in something else.
What else?
Anti-aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
And I just fit in them double things, you know, two cannons.
Where'd you go to gunner school?
Huh?
Where'd you go to gunner school?
Well, that's where we,
Oh, San Diego?
yeah, we had it all right there.
Mm-hmm.
And they was gonna, well, if the war would have kept, I believe they would have got us, the would have been
Yeah.
a little bit worse, you know.
Mm-hmm. You have any questions?
No, you don't.
You're gonna have to. Well, Mr. Garza,
Yeah.
we're going on over to Kenton right now. We're gonna, you know Mr. Labrie?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna go over there and talk to him.
One of the Labradors, old Labrador.
Yeah,
all
we're gonna go
dead.
talk to the old Wesley Senior.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
They won't catch a fish for you.
And
Just run and hide.
I want to ask you, you're through with me?
Well, for this time.
Oh, is another time?
Oh. We may come back sometime and talk to you again if we can.
And then what? What's going to happen to me?
Oh, I don't know. Never can tell.
Boy. Are you going to do like Mr. Luhan?